over there, but let's catch a little fire here at Roy S. Anderson and find a little fire. We'll see what kind of halftime adjustments and what kind of speech the Railers were given at halftime.
Starters on the court for the Railers: Tate Sloan, Titus Cannon, Drew Bacon, Ben Grunder, and Isaiah Bowers. Sloan down low. They try to get it to Drew, and quickly it's already turned over. They tried to dump it down to Drew. He mishandled the pass. And quickly, Washington with their first possession. They've got an 11-point lead as they head to the basket here in front of us. 3 on the way, left it way short. Vanderheit with the air ball.
Man, other than Ware, the Panthers have not been close on some shots from the perimeter. Thankful for their team and him that he's been really good from 3, 4 or 5 from 3, but Bowers
in and out.
But yeah, other than that, the Panthers have not shot that well from the perimeter.
Well, we talk about the Railers and their shots not going down. Some of the shots have been good shots. That's the third now that I can count that went in and out.
Yeah, you're right, and that happens. And I think when that happens, there's sometimes you just have to find a way to get an easy score and get some easy baskets. And we've had our opportunities to get around the basket and score something.
Minute gone by already here in the third. Williams at the free throw line. Dribbles in. 3 on the way. Vanderheit in front of his teammates on the Washington bench. Hits for Longland. That's up and good. It's now an 18-4 run for Washington, and they're up 28-14. Grunder, right corner 3. That's up and good.
Oh, nice answer for the senior Grunder. A nice answer for the Railers, Jeff. But it's on this end on the defensive end. The Railers have got to pick it up a little bit more and show a little more activity. Start pressuring the basketball a little bit more.
Well, at least in the third, the Railers got their first points of the quarter a lot earlier than they had been. Vanderheit, second 3 of the quarter, and it goes down as well. Battle of threes early on here, and it's a 31-17 lead. You talked about it, Josh. All the scoring the Railers can do. If Bacon hits a 3, front of the rim, no. Rebound to Williams. You're not going to catch him if you don't stop him.
No, and they've gotten it right into Williams in the middle, and then they've kicked it out to their freshman, who's now made 2 in a row from behind the arc. And Grunder's got to realize that right now Adrian Ware in the middle is not worried about scoring. He's going to pass it from there. Adrian Williams is going to pass it from there and get it out to his shooters, which he's done to Adrian Ware, and now Vanderhoot, who has a couple 3s in a row.
And bound to Gaudette. Easy catch, easy score. 33-17 Washington. Grunder in the right corner on top to Bowers. Sloan now handles. Hands off to Cannon. 5.5 to go in the third. They're going to have to start that comeback pretty quick here. Cannon, he's going to drive in, kick it in the corner. Grunder open 3 on the way, up and good again.
Oh, nice couple 3s here for Ben Grunder to answer the Washington Panther 3s, but he has not been able to get some stops on this end, Jeff, and that's what it's going to come down to is rebounds and stops on this end, trying to find a way to limit the easy shots so far for the Panthers.
5:09 to go. Railers down 33-20. Grunder has scored the last 10 points for the Railers.
Yeah, really the only Railer that's shown any life on the offensive end.
Ware on the right side, watched by Sloan. Now they get it on top. Back over to Ware. Swinging around to Vanderheit. Can he hit a third? Missed it badly, but Williams is there for the cleanup. Lays it in and is fouled. This Washington team, Josh, it seems like everybody knows what their role is, and they're very happy in it.
Yeah, and they haven't forced any shots. Right there, Vanderhoot didn't make a great shot from the perimeter, but he had made 2 already in a row. And then this guy may be the definition of what you just talked about. Doesn't do a lot of scoring underneath, but gets rebounds. He's guarded Bowers the whole night and done a really good job on him.
Free throw goes down. It is 36-20. Cannon on top to Grunder. Bacon to Sloan. Tate's picked up his dribble back over to Drew in the right corner, working against Gaudette. Goes baseline. Grunder again. Missed that one off the front of the rim. Ball kicked around, but it is Washington that comes out with it. Washington with 4:15 to go in the third with a 16-point lead over the Railers. Ball loose, still loose, picked up by Cannon. One of the Washington players slipped and fell. That's where the pass was intended. Quick pass from Cannon to Drew, his reverse layup, and he missed it. Railers again unable to capitalize on a mistake by Washington. Now there's another one as they throw it away. Bacon comes out with it. Grunder on the right side. He's going to go baseline. Goes up strong. Lots of contact. Missed the layup. Rebound down to Washington. And then Grunder comes away with the steal. Ben goes in. A little bit of contact. No call. Ball knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Bowers. Back to Washington. Lots of action end to end. Not a lot of scoring. And with time ticking away, that's not good for the Railers as Bacon and Cannon head to the bench. Hamlin and Dewberry in for the Railers, Josh.
Yeah, you're right. There's just not been, Ben hit those couple threes to start the third quarter, but the Panthers have answered everything we have been able to do. And, Grunder had a couple opportunities there to get some layups down, or shots anyway, and just not been the offensive night the Railers have needed.
Three from Ben Mount is no good. Rebound for the Railers, and Isaiah took it coast to coast. Foul is going to be whistled on Ware. That'll be his second first on Washington. 3:09 to go. 36-20. Inbound, Isaiah to Sloan, and Tate off the glass is good. Stay with Washington here. And Josh, you talked about getting an easy score. How many out-of-bounds plays does Coach have? And that's where he usually tries to find that 2 points here and there. Yeah,
you're right. Maybe that's something that will get the Railers going. But, it's been on this end where the Railers, as you said earlier, a lot of turnovers so far for the Panthers, but the Railers have not been able to capitalize.
Another stop as the Railers get the steal. Sloan found it over to Dewberry. And then Isaac is called for steps and what you would call an unforced error. It looked like he was setting his feet to try and drive baseline.
Yeah, and didn't get his feet set early enough to I think he wanted to shoot it first, and then ultimately they came out on him and tried to go baseline and drive to the basket. Just couldn't get the feet set and in control.
2:30 to go in quarter number 3. Vanderheit dumps it into Gaudette. Gaudette backing Jermaine, has it stripped away by Dewberry. Bowers 1-on-5. Isaiah's going to take it to the basket, flips it up, off the glass and good.
I think if the Railers would speed up the pace a little bit, would be in their best interest. I mean, I don't know that Washington wants to play this fast-paced game, and Coach Brown wants to take a timeout, but we've got to speed up the game a little bit.
Timeout taken by Washington, just a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here. 2:16 to go. Railers down 36-24 in the third quarter. Gives us a chance to say thank you to the folks at Lincoln IGA, Bright Idea Screen Printing, and Lincoln College for their sponsorship of Railer action this year on WLCN 96.3 FM. Well, the Railers on a 7-3 run. It may not seem like much, but if you're going to make a comeback, it's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And we've noticed it. These last couple points have come after mistakes by Washington.
And plenty of those so far for Washington. The Railers have not been able to capitalize on a lot of them, but they have turned the ball over several times, that being the Panthers. And finally, the Railers have turned those into points, and they've been transition points where Bowers there got on the break and was able to get a couple layups to go.
2 minutes to go in the third. Williams at the free throw line, surrounded by Railers, gets it over to Ware. Ware directing traffic, being watched by Grunder. Boy, the offense for Washington really pushed out high. Dumped up in the air. Steal comes away. Grunder. Head to Sloan. Tate with the up and under layup is good.
Yeah, you got to keep him going, Jeff. Another fast-paced layup, a turnover, and leads to some transition baskets. So the Railers starting to find a little momentum. The crowd's starting to get into it a little bit. The Railer defense is starting to turn over Washington. Here's another one. Here we go.
Away. Bacon ahead to Sloan. Tate is going to think about a three. Takes it. He got it. Another timeout taken by Washington. 30-second timeout. We will keep it here. 1:19 to go in the third. Josh, a few moments ago, the Railers were down 16.
Yeah.
It's now just 7. It can happen very quickly.
Well, the pressure started to mount a little bit, and I don't know if Washington started to get to hold the ball a little bit more, but they weren't getting the shots that they've gotten so far. And now the defense picks up. You start to get a few turnovers, and now Sloan gets out on the leak after a turnover, and he gets a layup. Now he gets another tip away, and Bacon finds him on open. He pulls up for 3 and drills it. So the right now is the Railers have to do it now. They've got the momentum. They've got to run. Washington with a good timeout by Coach Brown to stop the momentum a little bit. But you start to build. It's been the fast pace for the Railers. You know, normally we don't say that, but it's been the Railers getting up and down the court a little bit more that has gotten back into this game.
1:15 to go in the third. Lincoln has cut it to 7 at 36-29. Grunder down in the corner to Williams. They watch, try to get out. There's Gadet all alone under the basket. He lays it up and in.
Yeah, and that's a momentum buster right there where you've got him in another trap in the corner and you give up an easy layup out of the trap. Something he had going, the Railers could have used to stop there.
38-29, under a minute to go. Grunder with the dribble out to Bacon. Bacon top of the key now, right side to Bowers. Bowers going to take it against Williams. Tried to bounce it over to a teammate, lost it. Picked up by Washington. Stolen away again. Sloan will go in with the left-hand layup, and that is good. And I'll tell you one thing, we got away with one there.
Yeah, Bowers hit one of their guys right about midcourt and was frustrated. They turned the ball over on the last possession, but didn't get the call, and it might have been a break there for the Railers.
38-31. Driving baseline, Williams, lots of contact, no call on that one. Ball into the hands of Tate Sloan, and the Railers will try and work a miracle here at the end of the third quarter. The way this quarter's been going, looks like hopefully they're going to hit a 3.
Yeah, this miracle's got to hurry because we only got 5 seconds, and right now we don't want Jermaine on the three-point line.
Isaiah, 3 on the way, off the rim, no good. Tate tried to tip it back in, couldn't grab it. At the end of 3, Railers have made a comeback. They're a little bit closer. At the end of 3, it's Washington 38. Lincoln 31, back with the fourth in a moment. You're listening to Lincoln Railer Basketball. Well, Josh, as we start the fourth quarter, we talk about the play of the Railers. A lot of kudos go to Tate Sloan. His career high is now 9 points, and he got all of them in about a 2-minute span in the third quarter.
Yeah, thankful for some Railer defense, some Washington Panther turnovers, which led to some leak-out points for Sloan.
Vanderheit's 3 is no good, rolls over the rim. Bacon the rebound. Railers their first possession of quarter number 4, down by 7. Isaiah back out to Grunder. Watch that timeline, Ben. Saved it from going into the backcourt. Bacon, hands to Sloan. I know a couple times during the quarter, as Bacon hits from the, left it short from the right corner for 3. I know a couple times in the quarter, we could hear all the way over here that the coaching staff was yelling about moving screens for Washington. We'll see if that comes into play here in the fourth.
And they're almost leaving Bacon wide open. His man, I believe 40, Vanderhoot, he is basically just laying off of him and staying right in the middle of the lane. So Drew has got to step up and hit a 3 at some point, or at least some sort of a jump shot to make them guard him.
Williams goes down the lane, offensive foul. There's Drew Bacon, stepped in the way, and we talked about Williams. He's not really looking to score, and they had shooters in both corner, and Drew Bacon was right there, and he knew that Williams wasn't going to do anything going to the basket except pick up the charge.
Well, and it's a guy you like to have. I mean, he just plays defense, rebounds, passes the basketball. That time went too far into the middle of the lane, and of course Bacon standing right there took the charge on a nice play by the Railer defense. So 38-31 with 7:08 left here in the fourth. Again, Jeff, we talked about it. The Railers with a nice run, and now we've gone off a couple of possessions now without any baskets. Yeah, it's time to get one here.
Bowers into the front court, hands to Sloan.
I think we get to run that backdoor play, which I think Williams has been guarding Bowers pretty heavily on the outside.
Bowers top of the key, kicks it down to the corner to Bacon. Nice job by Drew of not making that pass because it would have been picked off.
Yeah, and his man staying way out in the middle of the court.
Bowers over to Jermaine for the big dunk in the face of Goudet.
Well, nice pass, yeah. Nice pass by Bowers. Gotten right in the middle of the lane, and a good thing you like to see about Jermaine is he was ready to receive the pass.
Gudette looks for the baseline, and a block is going to be called on Jermaine as Gudette tried to make a move for Jermaine. That's his third team foul.
And if you would have watched his feet early on, he moved his feet yet before he put the dribble down, and Coach Gregg picked that up, and I think Coach Al was right there on it, but unfortunately the official was not.
38-33, Railers closer than they've been in quite a while, down to 5. 6:20 to go. Kicked by Tate Sloan. It'll stay with the Panthers. Again, Railer basketball brought to you by Rickham State Farm Insurance, the Carpet House, and the folks at Community Action Partnership of Central Illinois. Got you a good ending coming up here from Roy S. Anderson. Almost a steal, is a steal. Isaiah with the tip away will go in for the layup, and good.
Yeah, nice tip away. Nice trap in the corner by the Railers right in front of the Washington Panther bench, and Bowers read it and knifed through there and was able to pick off the pass, almost like a safety in football, Jeff, where he was picked it off and for a layup.
Gudette went in for a shot. Jermaine came over for the block. Looked like he got mostly ball, but the officials saying got some contact as well. And Jermaine, trying to get the block, has picked up his 4th foul, 4th on the Railers. Gudette will be at the line shooting 2. Yeah. 5:57 to go.
I think if you're Coach Alexander with the momentum you've got, it's tough to take out Jermaine, which he's going to right now. But 4 fouls. You've got some bodies to bring in. For me, at that point where we've got some momentum going, we're back within 3, I leave him in there and just say, if he fouls out, he does. We got some guys off the bench to come in.
Gudette misses the first one. Second one, that one is good. It's now 39-35.
A once exuberant Coach Brown on the sidelines for Washington has now taken a seat to watch part of this game. So whether he's irritated or whatever it may be, but his coaching demeanor has diminished a little bit now.
Grunder on the right side. It was Cannon who came in for Hamlin. Grunder making a move against Gudette. Driving around the baseline. Isaiah right side 3 on the way. Shot it up long. Sloan there for the rebound. Tate grabs it, kicks it over to Ben. Ben, contact. He goes down, and he'll go to the line.
Sloan's been the spark, Jeff. I mean, you talked about it. 9 points in the third quarter. That time, the littlest guy on the court possibly gets an offensive rebound and brings it out. Gets a nice pass to Grunder, who is open underneath the basket, and Grunder's going to go to the line for 2. So you talk about a spark that the Railers needed really all night, and they've got it in the form of number 12, Tate Sloan, the senior, in this second half.
And we've talked about it before. Every team needs a Tate Sloan.
Mm-hmm.
Grunder. Like we're at Wimbledon, it got very quiet.
Silent.
First free throw for Ben, up and good.
Until you hear the voice that most can distinguish within a crowd is Mr. Gazzardo, says get in. And you can always you always know that voice even from back when I was playing. See, You can still hear it. He has allowed a lot of free throws to go through the rim with that voice.
Almost stolen, tipped away, ball last touch by Washington right in front of the scorer's bench. 39-37 after Ben made them both. And who would have thought, Josh, when the Railers were down 36-20, we'd be talking with 5:18 to go in the game. Railers a chance to tie, maybe take the lead with a long one.
Yeah, and they need it. They need it now. You know, we've gone where we've came back and then we've taken some possessions off of not really doing it. Here's that backdoor play. But they just won't guard Bacon on the perimeter because he hasn't shown that he can score.
Isaiah down in the corner to Sloan, back out to Cannon. 5 minutes to go. Grunder down the lane, out to Sloan. Titus. Railers looking for a good shot. Titus goes in, kicks it out to Bacon. Didn't take the shot, now back out to Bowers. Isaiah's going to drive in, pull up floater off the glass. No! Rebound to Williams for Washington. 4:45 to go. Gudette on the baseline. Kicks it back out now to their point guard. Cannon closely guarded. Picked up by Sloan. Gets it ahead to Titus. Titus going to take it down the lane. Almost lost control of it. Back out to Bacon. Grunder for the lead.
Got it. Got it for the Railers. Grunder with a big 3 there. Now 20 turnovers for the Panthers, and it has been all the Railer defense here in the second half, Jeff, of turning over Washington. I believe they had 9 at half. Now travel there.
Oh. I think they got Isaiah with the foul as he went over for the trap. His first, only the 5th on the Railers.
Been pretty ticky-tack for what's going on in this game, but stoppage of play there by the Railers, foul by Bowers. But again, Jeff, a little momentum now for the Railers. They were able to answer here. Be nice for another big turnover.
4:15 to go. Lincoln 40, Washington 39.
They're not comfortable with the ball right now. You can see there are a lot of balls falling off the hands of Washington.
Long three on the way. That's going to be no good. Tracking down the rebound. And who are they going to get the foul on? They're going to get the foul on Grunder, I believe, or is it just that he knocked it out of bounds?
They're just going to say... they're saying Grunder was touching the ball as he was going out of bounds. Looked to me like 50.
Goodette was on top of
had, all the control of the ball that time.
Halfway through the 4th quarter, Lincoln with a 1-point lead. They're on a 20-3 run to get this lead back.
Well, it'll be a nice time for their 22nd turnover, Jeff, and that might...
Oh, Bowers went into the Washington bench as he came from the backside to knock it away, and Coach Kevin Brown not happy. It's not with the officiating, it's with his 5 on the floor.
Well, yeah, 21 turnovers for the Panthers. 12 of those in the second half, and it's been that Railer defense that's been able to turned up the pressure a little bit on them. They've not really wanted to handle the ball against this 1-2-2 here in the first out. Another turnover over and back for the Panthers, so 22 turnovers, and it's been that pressure, Jeff. We talked about it with the Railers need to turn it up and speed up the game a little bit, and we've been able to do that.
Cannon and Sloan with a great double team at the timeline, and Ware turned to try and find an opening, and when he did, hit that timeline right in the middle of the logo, in the middle of the floor. Now the Railers, the basketball and the lead.
Yeah, don't be too conservative here. You know, if you got the big guy, I don't know what kind of defense they're playing exactly. It's almost like a matchup zone here where basically Goodette stays right in the middle. You can put out Bacon in the corner, and I'm not sure Goodette would ever come out and get him.
This is where you talk about if it's a good look, this is maybe where you need Drew to hit a 3.
Yeah, just have Drew step out there and hold it.
Grunder back out to Sloan. Bacon top of the key, hands off to Sloan. 3:10 left, Railers up 1. Grunder on the right side, Bacon thought about it, didn't take it.
Yeah, good idea. You know, he's not shot it well tonight, so there's no sense in firing one here late in the 4th, but handle the ball. I'm not sure this is a defense that can pressure us into turning the ball over a lot.
Isaiah, a little floater in the lane, didn't get the roll, and then a rebounding foul is going to go against the Railers. I think they get that one on Ben as he was trying to knock it away from Williams. Grunder, 2nd, 6th team foul. Railer basketball brought to you by 5th Street Food Mart, Lincoln Heating and Cooling, Headline Salon LLC. And with that, timeout being taken, we will take it with them. 2:48 to go in this one. Lincoln 40, Washington 39. You're listening to Lincoln Railer basketball. Along with Josh Komnick, Jeff Benjamin back with you. Coach Neil Alexander Court at Roy S. Anderson Gymnasium. Railers have stormed back to take a 40-39 lead. And you talk about momentum, Josh, and being comfortable. And Coach always talks about you want to make the other team uncomfortable. The ball handling for Washington, it's almost I don't care who has it, it's just I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't need it. And 22 turnovers now for Washington. So, it's something that the Railers have had to do to try and speed this up. You don't play a lot of teams that we want to speed up. Tonight was one of them, and really a lot of that was number 12 in Tate Sloan.
Tate Sloan with career-high 9, all in the 3rd quarter. Ben Grunder leading the way for the Railers tonight. He has 18. And we tick down to 2.5 minutes to go in the contest. Ware thought about it. That's been another key to this second half. Ware had 4 threes in the first half, nothing in the second. And Williams went in, and a foul is going to be whistled down low. And if that's on Jermaine, that will be 5 on Hamlin, and he will be out. So Jermaine fouls out. Cannon will check back in. Jermaine leaves with 4. Some good minutes from Jermaine tonight. At the line will be the 6'6 senior, Adrian Williams. He will have 2. He has 7 so far tonight. First free throw is on the way, up and good. We are tied at 40. I will say that Williams is very patient at the line.
Yeah, he takes all of, you get allotted 10, I believe,
10, yep.
and he's probably close to that 8-point or 8-second margin, but do what works, and he was able to knock down 2 of them.
Washington gets the lead back. It's 41-40 Panthers. 2:15 to go. Bacon down in the right corner.
Yeah, Drew's almost going to have to nail one from the corner, I think, and we've seen him in years past, and this year also. That's his corner over there in front of the Railer bench.
Grunder stutter stepping to the basket. Didn't get the call with all the contact.
He just hit his arm.
Williams down low, drops it off to Gadet. Gadet, the little floater, and he got the roll. 43-40. Washington last 4 of the game. Now they've got a 3-point lead with 1:40 to go. Still plenty of time. Don't need a 3. Isaiah on top to Bacon. Hands off to Grunder. Grunder at the top of the key. Bounces it. Dangerous pass into the corner to Cannon. Grunder waits for a teammate. There's Bacon. Hits the 3. Yes!
We needed it.
Drew Bacon, we've been calling for it all night. And he hits that 3 to tie the game at 43. Timeout taken. It's a full timeout. We'll take it with them again. 1:18 to go here at Lincoln High School. We're tied at 43. Back in a moment with more Lincoln Railer basketball. Benjamin with you. And Josh, one thing that it's not a big sample size, but it's something to talk about. In close games, in games where the Railers, the game has been decided by 10 or less, the Railers are only 2 and 4. So they need a win,
right.
But it'd be good to get a close win.
Yeah, you're right. And you know, against a quality opponent as well. You know, Washington has, their record 7-10 on the season, but they've played a really good basketball game tonight.
Well, and they've already beaten Mahomet. Timeout taken by Washington as they were having a whole lot of trouble getting across the timeline. So we stand at 1:11 and say thank you for sponsorship of Railer basketball to Grau Incorporated and Schneider Chiropractic Center. 1:11. Washington, we've seen Josh very methodical with some of their offense here in the second half. If you're Coach Kevin Brown, do you try to hold it? Even though what we've seen here in the last few minutes, they've had a hard time just running something simple.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can. They've struggled with, as you said, holding on to the basketball. Now 22 turnovers on the game, and I think if you try and hold it for, a minute 11 left, and say you take a shot with about 5 seconds left or so to try and get a rebound, that's holding the ball for a long, and we've talked about earlier, their ball handlers are not comfortable right now. They do not want to handle the ball. The Railers are up in them. Right now the Railers with 6 team fouls, so the next one will be in the bonus, so that's something to look at too. The Railers can't be overly aggressive where they commit a stupid foul and give a chance for Washington to take the lead from the free throw line.
Gadet, Williams, Mount, Ware, Kostler on the floor for Washington. For Lincoln, Cannon, Sloan, Grunder, Bowers, and Bacon. Ball back in bounds. Still trying to work it into the front court. They do. They run into a double team. Swinging around over to Ware. Ware drives in against Bacon. Now pulls back out. Under a minute to go.
And I think they're going to try to go into number 23.
3 on the way up. That's no good. Rebound for Ware. And then a foul is going to be whistled on Grunder. Ware got the long rebound. Ben picks up his 3rd. And now a foul will send Washington to the line, shooting 1 and bonus. It's Adrian Ware, the 5'10 senior. Killed the Railers in the first half with 4 threes. Has not scored so far in the second. Free throw on the way is up, and he missed it. Rebound to Bacon. So now the Railers with 40 seconds to go.
And your same question to me, do the Railers try and hold it now? They've got 36 seconds, and I think you can hold it if you're with Bacon, you can just hold it here, and I think you're exactly right now. Take the last-second shot. They're not going to come out and get Drew, and maybe you spot up Drew in that corner or something where, the big boy, Goudet, is not going to come out on Bacon. Coach Al's got to figure out that call that he wants.
We're down to 15. Bacon still holding. And then a timeout taken by Coach Alexander with 13.8 to go to set up the last-second shot here. It's a full timeout. We will take it with them. Tied at 43, 13.8 to go. Back with Lincoln Railer basketball. Welcome back to Coach Neil Alexander Court at Roy S. Anderson Gymnasium. We promised you a good ending. Now we just hope it's a happy ending.
We just weren't sure that it would happen.
Yeah,
at one point in the game that would happen this way.
Tied at 43, 13.8 to go. Jermaine Hamlin has fouled out. The way the game has been going, I'd like to put it in the hands of Ben Grunder. Go with about 4 or 5.
See if we can get to the basket.
Yeah, but then like you talked about with the fouls, got to watch the rebounding.
Yeah, and like right now, Washington only 3 team fouls, so look for Washington. As soon as we get it in to start fouling a little bit more, run some clock, and make us keep taking the ball out of bounds.
Here we go. Sloan to Cannon. Titus holds near the timeline. We're down to 10. Sloan on the left side. Back out to Bowers. Down to 6. Isaiah turn. Kicks in the corner. Grunder baseline! Off the back of the rim. No. Rebound off. Washington fires it up from half court. And we are going to overtime. Going to overtime. We head to the extra session. Tied at 43. Back with overtime in a moment. You're listening to Lincoln Railer basketball.
Each team will receive an additional timeout.
Welcome back to overtime. Railers will start the extra session with Bowers, Bacon, Grunder, Sloan, and Cannon on the floor. Washington wins the opening tip. They've got Williams, Gaudet, Ware, Mount, and it's Ware quickly with a jumper and hit us up and good. And Washington takes a very early lead in overtime, 45-43. So now the Railers look to answer back in the extra 4-minute session of overtime.
It'll be interesting to see. They're not guarding Bacon again, where Drew can step up right on that three-point line. Basically, Gaudet, the 6'8" junior, just planted right in the middle of the lane, not guarding a lot of guys underneath there. We got to find out a space where somebody can get open.
Bacon, open for 3, doesn't take, hands off to Sloan. And then a foul. No, travel's going to be whistled on Tate Sloan as he was looking to dump it inside. And a turnover gives it back to the Panthers. They've got the lead, 3:15 left. Well, Josh, I think Saturdays have become overtime Saturdays. We were here against Waukegan last week in overtime.
Yeah, and the Railers weren't necessarily thankful for that overtime tonight. They've been thankful for this overtime and able to come back and erase that 16-point deficit that Washington had once had.
Williams in the right corner, mounts 3 up on the way, no good. Ball tipped around. Williams there to clean it up off the glass. He missed it. Rebound again, and it goes, and he's fouled. We talked about Williams not being one that's willing to shoot and do much with it. You put him within 5 feet of the basket, grabbing rebounds, and that's his specialty.
Yeah, you talked about it. They've got a lot of guys that know their role in a team, and he's probably the perfect example of that. Does a lot of his dirty work underneath the hoop.
Williams with 11 with that basket. Free throw up and good. It's now 48-43. And Josh, just like the first and second quarter, Washington getting out to quick starts. When you get to overtime, you can't afford to give that up if you're Lincoln.
No, there's
Grunder right side 3 on the way. Off, no good. Rebound to Williams. 2:35 to go. Washington's up by 5 and with the basketball. And then traveling's going to be whistled on Washington in the backcourt. So a turnover gives it back to the Railers. I'm not sure if Tate turned his ankle or got a Charlie horse. He looks like he's favoring his right leg a little bit after that travel call. Isaiah pull up from about 13, left it way short. Rebound to the Panthers. Williams, top of the key, over to Ware. 3 on the way. Good. Early quarter starts have really hurt the Railers here tonight. And it's now an 8-point lead. Bacon's 3 from the right side. That's no good. And Goudet grabs the rebound. We're halfway through, and Washington's got an 8-0 run going. And now they've got time to play and run some clock.
Yeah, you're right. And we've just gotten ourselves into too big of a hole here in overtime to even, it'd be tough to come back from.
And Washington and Coach Kevin Brown, you got to believe, as Cannon gets a foul on Ware. It'll be the first on Titus, 9th on the Railers. Ware to the line. Washington very content to just run some clock now. Dewberry in, Sloan out. And actually looks like he's looking at his left knee.
Yeah, almost his knee area.
So Ware, who has 5 of the 8 points for Washington in this overtime, his first free throw is up and good. Well, Adrian Ware was very silent in the second half. And a technical foul has been called, it looks like. Not sure we'll get an explanation here. So we'll finish the 1 and bonus free throws from Ware. Free throw on the way is good. So it's now 53-43. And he just made 2, so he's just going to leave him up there to shoot the next ones. First free throw, that one off.
Must have been on the bench. Yeah.
Second one, got that one to go, so he hits 3 of 4 to make it 54-43. And now the basketball will go back to Washington. 1:38 left. I'm just checking to see if any of the players have an extra foul. They do not. So like you said, it must have been on the Lincoln bench. 54-43 as we tick down to a minute and a half to go. Grunder picks up the foul. Then his 4th, 10th team foul. So now Washington will be shooting 2. Butler will get 2. First one up and good. They're going to look at the score and say, "What? Are you sure it went to overtime?"
Yeah, it's going to be a little lopsided after overtime. The Panthers have done a good job on the free throws as well. 10 of 14 from the line tonight.
Misses the second one, but they get the rebound, and we're at 1:20 to go. And the Railers are down 12 as Washington has outscored Lincoln in the extra period 12-0. Underneath, Goudet off the glass, underneath, and good. A 14-0 run for overtime. Grunder drives in, gets a shot to go down for the Railers. With 1:02 to go. 57-45. You know, it's the strange way things work out, Josh. In the first, second, and now in overtime, where Washington got off to good starts and big runs, the player that ended it for the Railers was always Ben Grunder. We didn't see that happen in the third and the fourth quarter, but in overtime, they got the opening tip. Ware scored 5 seconds into the overtime, and just it's like an Indy car going past a normal car.
Yeah. You get that first couple scores in overtime, and it's just the momentum just sinks from the other team, and it's hard to come back from. And that's exactly what Washington did. You know, you think as big as lead as they had, and the Railers took the lead, and then Washington, of course, tied it and went in overtime. The Railers would be the team with a little bit of momentum, but they swiped that clearly and quickly away from the Railers heading into overtime.
Minute 2 to go. Right now, Washington probably feels pretty comfortable in the driver's seat with this one, as Lincoln is down 4 possessions. In the backcourt, Washington. Ware working against Grunder. Ahead to Mount, over to Williams. Railers chasing, over Gurdett, back out to Mount. And right now Washington not even looking at the basket. And then a foul whistled on the Railers. 2 shots coming up for Butler for Washington. Foul will go on Bowers, his second. So if Butler makes both of these, the overtime session, Josh, is 4 minutes, half of a regular quarter. If he makes both of these, this shorter time period of basketball will be their highest scoring period in the game.
Pretty good. It saved the best for last.
Butler misses the first. (57-45), 45 seconds left. Free throw up. That one off, no good. Dewberry the rebound for the Railers. Hurry is an understatement. Isaiah over to Grunder. Grunder's going to drive in. Splits the defense. Won't get it to go down, but Grunder will be at the line shooting 2. And really, it's been Grunder the entire game, Tate Sloan for that third quarter, but the Railers have struggled to find offense from anyone else tonight.
Yeah, it has been. You're right. And I think you got to give a little credit to Adrian Williams, who's done an excellent job on Bowers tonight. What have you got, Bowers?
Isaiah was 7.
7, yeah, and that's way below his average of 16. So credit that guy. And you talked about a guy that just kind of does his job. Adrian Williams has done that job tonight. I think he's got 7 assists, 13 rebounds, and 12 points. You know, when a guy in high school gets close to a triple-double, he's had a heck of a night.
And then a foul as the Railers trying to keep this one going, down 57-46 with 23 seconds to go. Titus his second. Butler back to the line where he is 1 for 4. First one on the way is up and good.
Well, if you look into the for the Classic now, Washington's going to improve to 2-1 after their overtime loss to Morton, 53-49. So, you know, this Classic, as Grunder hits a 3 from the corner, make it a 10-point game now. This Classic is really Morton has got themselves into a driver's seat.
And then a blocking foul is going to be whistled on Cannon with 7.5 seconds to go. And the Railers down 10, 59-49. Third on Titus. At the line is Adrian Ware. First one on the way is up and good. Well, Ware has been the story. His 4 threes in the first half, nothing in the second half, and then he's got 9 here in overtime alone. Second free throw creeps through as well. 61-49. Now all we're doing is looking for the final score as Cannon kicks it back out to Bacon. Left corner 3 for Drew. That's going to go, but that's going to be our final score as Washington knocks off the Railers in overtime. Final score of 61-52. The Railers fall to 13-5. Washington improves to 8-10. Railers fall tonight by 9 in overtime. We'll be back in just a moment with the Josh Komnick Ground Incorporated and Schneider Chiropractic Center postgame show. You're listening to Lincoln Railer Basketball.
I'm not sure there's either one of them. The final outcome was not right, but we were again in another competitive game.
Joined now by Lincoln coach Neil Alexander. Coach, a tough one here tonight, and you know Josh just brought up a really good point. This is 2 weeks in a row the Railers have been in overtime. Last week had a big lead, and Waukegan was able to come back and get the win in overtime. Tonight the Railers stormed back from being down 16 to force overtime. Unfortunately, the result in each game was a loss. Tonight, again, though, the Railers, a furious comeback. but it seemed like it was the starts of quarters that did you guys in tonight. Start of the first quarter, Washington first 7, second quarter, Washington first 12, and then in overtime it seemed like they just had an extra gear and came away with the win.
Yeah, disappointing, but it's not surprising the way we practiced this week, because we had no fire in our practice. We didn't want to cover. We didn't want to move. That team's very well coached. They use their players to their advantage and so forth. And, we just didn't come out to play. They done a couple things to make us adjust. They put the big guy in the middle and didn't even let him come out. So you got to have somebody that can step out and shoot the ball. We didn't use our pull-up shots. I think we might have taken one, which, we are a good pull-up shooting team. But I think our first 4 or 5 shots were 3-pointers in the ball game today. And, we got outplayed for 3 quarters, maybe 4, 3.5. We had a nice spurt where we had there late in the third period, and then we made the run on them and forced some turnovers. But, that only lasts so long and everything. So, we fought back, and it's, we come to the gym thinking, easy game or whatever. But you play Washington, you better strap it on, because they're going to come and or put your hat on, because they're going to jack you around and play. And I was upset with the officiating, but I had no room to be upset with them, because we didn't play to get any calls. You don't attack the ball on the boards, you're not going to get anything. You're standing straight up and down, you're not going to get any calls. And we have to be able to attack the basketball. But we did have a spurt there where I thought the key was Tate on the point. I thought he made a lot of things happen. He was long, he was aggressive, but he made a lot of things happen. He was flying around and forced a lot of turnovers and things. So I think basically a lot of that was Tate and how he played the point of the defense.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about their team knowing kind of who they are and what they were supposed to do, although they had 23 turnovers, which I'm sure Coach Brown's not happy with, but they had several guys that didn't do anything that they probably weren't supposed to do. You talk about Adrian Williams, number 23, 12 points tonight, 14 rebounds, and also 7 assists. Probably the most important thing he did was hold Bowers to 7.
Exactly. I told Isaiah, you let them put a big guy on you, and you didn't take advantage of it. So I thought that was a key, and we talked about that. And I thought that was a good move. He was a good defender, and he stopped it. But he was able to get out and put pressure, because when you went to the basket, you had the big guy sitting in the middle.
Yeah, you're right. They left the guy, and really Bacon didn't hit any outside shots until late in the game. But yeah, good game plan of course by Coach Brown. But we had our shots. He had a shot there to win it at the end. Just couldn't get it to go. But you talk about the pull-ups and mid-range and inside shots. We've seen Railer teams that have attempted 24 threes, and because they just had to. This team is, I think, probably the most threes attempted was tonight with 24, and I thought sometimes just settled for that 8 of 24 tonight.
Yeah, and that's 33%, but still, they were wide open looks that you got to be able to bury, and that would force them to play a little bit different. And we didn't get to the 15-foot mark where we are really good at, and that was a difference in the game. We let their big guy pretty much dominate and take us out of what we wanted to do.
Coach, in the first half, number 4, Adrian Ware, hit 4 threes. It seemed like he was standing in one spot the entire night and hitting threes one right after the other right in front of the bench. I'm not sure if that was readdressed at halftime, because he was held scoreless in the second half, but then in overtime he scored 10 of their points in overtime. It was almost like he decided as the senior he was going to take over.
Well, we talk about, they can shoot it on the arc, and we just didn't get out and cover anything. They have great ball movement. They have great personnel movement. They move their people around, and they got good floor spacing, and we didn't react. We were looking and see where the ball was going instead of following the pass and be there on the catch. And we allowed him to hit 4 threes, and then if we played the first half, the game doesn't go overtime, but that's part of the game. That's why you play the game and so forth. But our guys got to know you got to come to play.
Coach, this in the midst of a very long week, and now coming up this week, one of your busier weeks, at Canton on Tuesday, at Muhammad on Friday, back here Saturday against Morton. This is not a very easy part of the schedule for this Railer team.
No, not at all. And if they want to play like they did tonight, it'll be a real rough stretch. And if we don't get focused and come with the energy and want to play and guard, it's going to be long nights.
Coach, you talk about not very good practice habits this week. It's really short week before you get to Canton. What can you do? What do you stress with it being a short week to try and get everything back towards the way you want it to go for Tuesday night at Canton?
Well, we got to try to get them in the gym and be focused on how they're going to play. You got to come. You got to be prepared. You got to work hard in practice, and just like you're going to play the game. And that's hard to do, but good teams do it, and consistent teams do it. If you don't do it in practice every day, you're going to play on a roller coaster. You're going to have good nights, you're going to have bad nights, and you're going to beat the teams you're supposed to. But we got to beat teams that are good, and right now that's not going to happen. And Washington's a good team.
All right, Coach. Well, we'll let you go after this one, and it's a busy week next week, as we said, and we will see you Tuesday night up in Canton as part of the Central Illinois Midwinter Classic, and see if the Railers can get back in the win column against the Little Giants.
Okay, thank you.
Railers fall here tonight in overtime by 9. We'll wrap it up in a moment. You're listening to Lincoln Railer Basketball.
Lincoln Railer Basketball on 96.3 WLCN and WLCNonline.com is brought to you by Grau Incorporated, Schneider Chiropractic, Headline Salon, Lincoln Heating and Cooling, Fifth Street Food Mart, Community Action Partnership of Central Illinois, The Carpet House, Rickham State Farm Insurance, Lincoln IGA, Lincoln College, Bright Ideas Screen Printing and Embroidery, St. Clair's Manor, Lincoln Park District, Grimaldi Law Office, Memorial Sports Care at Abraham Lincoln Memorial Hospital, Jim Examus Ford Lincoln, Stacy's Family Pharmacy, Lincoln Dare, Eaton Corporation, Abraham Lincoln Memorial Hospital, Lincoln Printers, Chicago Street Rentals, and by Four Corners Lube.